I mean, it's clear to all of us that we're facing a perfect storm. Whereas, for many institutions, there are fewer applicants, and certainly the students are the livelihood, the financial flow that we need in order to continue to operate, in addition to endowments and research, and maybe for public institutions, whatever tax contributions are made from their state legislatures, whatever fund contributions. But it turns out that there is less money available. And not only that, it turns out that it costs more than ever to operate a university. We have suffered inflation in salaries. We have an incredible set of regulations and compliance requirements that demand that we hire scores and scores of administrative personnel who are doing verification of the different state and federal and sectorial rules that apply in higher education, not only for student businesses and education, but also maybe finance, like Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, being a financial services institution to some extent, PCI compliance for the credit card payments that we take, cybersecurity, model maturity certification if you're doing research with DoD funding. I mean, tons of requirements. And because of these requirements, then institutions might say, we don't have enough money to do everything. And one of the first things that institutions are going to cut, of course, is no more travel for employees, no more training for employees, and then we start delaying technology updates. Now, here's an interesting part. It's a little bit like shooting yourself in the foot because you're not making your institution as productive as it could be. But we understand that in a difficult year, you must cut corners, and certainly technology upgrades that can be deferred, that can be still implemented 2 to 3 years down the road, may be an opportunity. Something very important is that sometimes, as they say in Eastern Europe, you are too poor to buy cheap things. And this may be true about delaying some of the updates. If you increase the risk of a major data leak resulting in money losses, reputational damage, regulatory actions, for example, as well as costly forensics litigation and many others, in the end, you didn't save any money. All the money you thought you saved made everybody more miserable, increased the risk for your organization, and certainly did not improve the bottom line. So even when cuts and delays are necessary, organizations must be very judicious and listen to the technology leaders, the CISO, the CIO, the experts on unique academic systems to figure out what are the trade-offs of delaying all of those upgrades. Now, the other part that is very interesting is that sometimes we must think long-term. So, for example, we find ourselves that by making very short-term decisions for next year, for the next 6 months, we end up missing on economies of scale, or we end up missing on strategic acquisitions that can pile on top of each other. We've seen many of us, for example, that there are many institutions that end up running different enterprise resource planning systems for the student and finance and human resources. In most cases, it's not the most efficient way to proceed if one institution can really put all their eggs with one vendor and have synergies and economies of scale, as well as better integrations of those three platforms.